Hi guys, today we have Vistasp here who is going to share about his paragliding experience along with his experience in arranging competitions. Let's go and speak to him. Hi Vij,
Hi Badri,
how are you doing?
great.
Okay, I want you to share a few things regarding the paragliding and the competitions today to our viewers. You are a senior pilot flying since long time, and but you are more popularly known as a Panchgani competition organizer, and this year you have also organized beer competition. Quickly tell me something. What makes you to organize these competitions?
Well, I'm not sure. It started with a small competition that I organized in Panchgani when I was a committee member in PAI, and I guess from there it just took off. So actually, I think this is the 5th or 6th comp we are organizing in Panchgani.
Yeah, 3 by yourself, and before that it was Gokul, and even before that it was by you.
Correct.
Why you personally take a responsibility and organize something like that? Because it is a lot of work. I mean, you have to plan at least 6 months in advance and apply for various things, and then you have to advertise and let people know, and you have to convince them that they come and fly with you, they trust you. It's a huge responsibility. I mean, you can just take your wing and go somewhere, either in India or abroad. You anyway keep traveling, and you can always have your fun flights, right?
Right.
Why do you have to go through all this? I mean, what fun is in this?
So initially it just started off as a project, as
PI project.
PI project, something to do for the free flying community. And a competition is a good way to gauge, people's skills, explore a new place. For Panchgani was a new place for me at the time. And I was fascinated, when I flew first in Panchgani, I was just fascinated by the terrain, and it has the potential to be a World Cup site. So it started off as a small thing. We had some 20 pilots on the hill, and in a friendly manner we set some tasks and we flew the comp. And then as the years progressed, the number of pilots slowly increased. Earlier we had only Indian pilots, that too probably just a few from Maharashtra. And then as we started applying to FAI, and this year we did the pre-worlds, and as the value of the competition, so to speak, increased in terms of points, WPRS points, etc., we started getting more and more pilots. Why I do it? Because I love to fly comps, and I would love to fly a comp in my own backyard, rather than travel to some other part of the globe. And secondly, not all Indian pilots have the means to travel abroad, and take part in competitions. So by bringing competitions here, a world-class level competition in India, it gives them a chance to compete on their, in their homeland, at a fraction of the cost that would require to travel abroad. So I think in a way it kind of levels the playing field.
Can you give me a couple of figures, like, if you go for the same comp abroad, what it costs and what is it costing here?
Well, in terms of pure competition fees, this year we charge 16,000 rupees. If you were to take part in a similar level of competition in terms of your points, this being both streams, FAI and World Cup, Today the fees they are charging is no less than 300 euros.
Oh, okay. So it's a 300 euros. I mean,
Yes.
so what we charged is in Panchgani is 200 euros more or less.
We charge around 200 euros.
Yeah.
Which this year it was difficult to cover the cost of the competition. Luckily we had a few sponsors, so it's not coming out of my pocket. The other thing is, apart from competition fee, is if you go abroad, number one is the travel. Just the ticket alone is going to cost you a minimum of 50,000 from India.
Yep.
Apart from that, the accommodation, the food, etc. So I think for a lot of Indian pilots, it's way beyond their means.
Yeah, so you think it comes somewhere close to 1 lakh or above, that's including the fees, visa charges, traveling and
would
accommodation,
think so, yeah.
right?
At least a lakh you would spend.
Yeah, which is in Panchgani, if you are a local from
Yeah.
Bombay or a Pune, then it is costing somewhat close to 30,000 all inclusive probably, 25-30,000.
True.
Right? So where you are saving almost like 3 times, 4 times the cost.
Right.
Yeah, I mean definitely this is a big opportunity for our pilots and our tandem pilots particularly. It's a great opportunity for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got a bunch of tandem pilots who come, regularly. They've been coming for the comps. Very motivated about competing, so which is good. I mean, also the other thing is we have instructors from all the big schools. Some of the instructors are flying really well, where otherwise, they would not have the time or the bandwidth to go and take so much time off.
How different is Panchgani? I mean, we have flown a lot and you have flown a lot even before me. So would you like to speak a little bit about that unique point of Panchgani?
Well, my story with Panchgani goes back a very long way. I did my schooling in Panchgani. So I have a very special bond with Panchgani from my childhood days. Apart from that, as a flying side, I think it's phenomenal. It's very, very technical. So it demands a very high level of piloting. It's definitely not a site for beginners. And in fact, I mean, this being my personal opinion, was reinforced again because recently for the comp that we did, we had an observer, Mr. Cyril Lambert, and I was talking to him, and he, after flying just for a couple of days in Panchgani, he was convinced that it was definitely had World Cup potential. So because it's extremely technical, it's not just straightforward about what is the wind direction of the day. You have valleys, you have bowls, so all sorts of formation. In each valley the air is a little bit different depending on your altitude. The wind directions change constantly. So yeah, it is an extremely challenging and rewarding site.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've all experienced the magic of Panchgani, whether it's in the evening and you get the restitution where you're just floating, wherever you go, just oodles of lift, or in one of the competitions, we faced some convergence where nobody could stay below 3,000 meters.
Yeah.
I think almost 90% got 0 points because they broke the ceiling.
Yeah.
So that is the magic of Panchgani.
Yeah,
And
it's also because of the sea breeze. You want to mention that?
Yeah, so in the daytime you normally have breeze from the east, and then towards evening, once the sea breeze pushes in, the sea is about 100 kilometers away.
Yeah.
So you get a kind of convergence, and and if you can catch it, it's quite amazing.
Yeah.
And not only Panchgani, I think that entire belt of the Sahyadri mountains is very, very unique because of its geographical positioning.
And you have done few flights from longest flights. Would you like to speak about them? About in terms of like challenges, the beauty and the air, everything?
Well, so yeah, I think it was the year before last when I flew from Panchgani to Kamshet, and I like to call it the 7 Lakes tour.
Yeah, I was there for 5.
Yes, and then again a year later, around the same time, I managed to repeat the route. Recently, some others, I think Alok and Rohit also flew the same route. So I think very soon it will become an established route, like you have your beer billing to Dharamshala.
Yeah.
And yeah, it gives you about 100 kilometers.
Yeah.
So it's a very good route to do when you have a kind of southeast wind.
Yeah.
And also it's got me thinking about the ex-Sahyadris, and this I see as probably one leg of the ex-Sahyadri race.
One leg of ex-Sahyadri. What is the total of the ex-Sahyadris?
Well, if it is anything, if it has to be anything like the ex-Alps or the ex-Pyrenees, the ex-Alps is a total of about 1,000 kilometers.
Okay.
So 100 is about 1/10 of that.
No, you're saying ex-Sahyadris is 1,000.
Yeah. So I would look at it for starters at about a 500 kilometer race. Over.
Would you like to mention the start and beginning points, like from where to where?
Well, I haven't really thought of that. But yeah, Panchgani could be a good start. It all depends on which direction we want to go.
Okay, I was wondering Panchgani comes somewhere in the middle, right?
Well, it could be a start, and you could go all the way towards Bhima Shankar in that direction.
Okay.
Or then we could do a north-south approach.
Yeah.
And maybe even start somewhere in the lower lands. In let's say Kamshet, which would be fitting because Kamshet is.
It's a good beginning.
Is pretty much the crucible of paragliding in the south.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it could be Kamshet to somewhere in the direction of Goa, for example.
Yeah, that is one possibility. I am assuming there is more possibility to come other way because the winds will be more favorable, I am assuming.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it all depends on which cycle of wind you have.
Yeah.
Like again, recently I was attempting to fly from Panchgani, and we had headwinds all the way.
Yeah.
So it all depends because there's constantly a cycle.
Okay.
Of course, to plan a good race, there would be a certain amount of zigzagging, where it would go up and down the Western Ghats. But yeah, this is just again, it's only a thought.
Why not? I mean, it was a thought of flying from Panchgani to Kamshet. It was a thought 3 years back, I think 4 years back.
Well, I wouldn't say it was a thought because it has been done before by Dilip Kotecha.
Yeah.
And when we in fact, even the waypoints that we use today for the competitions, a lot of them have been created by Dilip Kotecha.
Yeah.
And he has flown extensively in the area.
Yeah.
So his tracks have been an inspiration always.
Yeah.
I mean, he's flown both ways. He's flown from Pune to Panchgani and the other way as well. Oh. So that was actually the start of the dream of these long flights in the area.
Yeah.
And he was the inspiration.
Yeah. Even Vijay had flown some parts of these, and then he still always says that these are my dreams. I want to cover a lot of these areas.
Yes, in fact, a couple of years back, Vijay mentioned that there was a expedition,
Yeah.
an ex-Sayadri expedition that they undertook along with the army, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't really know all the details of that, but they covered quite a portion of the Sayadris.
Okay, so let's come back to Panchgani competitions, all the competitions which you organize.
Yeah.
And until now you have organized 4 competitions, out of them 3 went without any problems, but the recent one has troubled you a little bit.
Yes.
And we were all a bit disappointed whatever has happened there. Would you like to speak about that in terms of that, you know, in future if we need to go ahead and
Right.
organize more, and people have to trust and come back, because it's not easy, like, you know, on one comp, if it happens like one day you flew and 5 days is gone, and to bring back people is not so easy. That I feel that we all collectively have to do in such a way where these problems do not come up in
Right.
the middle of the comp.
Right.
And the reputation of the organizer and the country and the place and the economy of the place, and we have spent more or less 4 to 5 lakhs altogether per day in Panchgani. That is the amount of money. If I count what has been given as a fees, or the amount of money we spent on hotels, traveling and the food, that is the revenue. The revenue per day is 4 to 5 lakhs.
True.
So many locals have got benefited because of that, right? And we have lost that. And how do we take this forward? What's your thoughts? How community can help you?
Well, I think the bigger problem I see here is actually free flying. Because today, you know, everybody is quite happy, you know, in their little areas of commercial activity. However, the free flying community has not really come together under a single banner. And this is the danger now, because earlier, you know, the authorities were quite complacent and happy to look the other way. But because of the recent GR, which first cropped up in 2016, and we've just got the second edition, 2018, they are now empowered to, and they feel empowered to crack down on free flying. Because I don't think there is any understanding of the subject. They look at it as something they cannot control, which also means, I mean, they have thoughts that, you know, it can be used for terrorism activities, etc., which is complete bullshit. So number one is education of the public through media. Number two is a waking up of the free flying community in general, because if we don't wake up now, we could just end up losing you know, our right to free fly. For example, in most countries like France or like England, you can fly anywhere. Okay, you can fly anywhere except for certain restricted areas.
Defined airspace.
Defined airspace. In India, it's the other way around. You know, they are defining where we can fly. So, for example, there is a small pocket, you know, in Kamshed where you can fly, but you can't fly outside that. You know, that is the general perception. This has to change. You know, and this can only happen at the highest level. It cannot happen, you know, one man cannot make it happen. We can only make it happen as a community, where, you know, we have everybody coming together collectively under one banner, and then fighting for our right to free fly. You know, today you can take a bicycle and you can ride around throughout anywhere in India. Nobody is going to stop you.
Yeah.
And a paraglider is nothing but the bicycle of the skies. So this whole incident in Panchgani could be a wake-up call. Because if the community does not wake up and does not get together, we may possibly lose our right to free fly anywhere in India. And this has to be taken up at the highest level. Contacts have to be made with the tourism ministry directly, with the sports ministry directly, because at the lower level at which we have been working in the past is not going to work anymore. You know, I mean, it was just a simple knee-jerk reaction. There was an accident, a pilot died. So they just said, okay, we want to shut down flying in Panchgani.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, every time there's an accident on the road, you don't stop people from driving.
Yeah.
You know, if there's a horse riding accident, you don't ban horse riding.
Yeah.
So why would you want to ban paragliding if there's a paragliding accident?
Last year we had the Asian Games.
Yes.
Right? First time in Asian Games, paragliding is a sport. And this is going to be a serious sport where you can have medals, right?
So this is the tragedy, because in the Asian Games, we had a team which could have brought us a gold medal. And the sad part is India did not send a team to represent paragliding in the Asian Games.
Yeah, first of all, we have very few pilots, and even they couldn't go for whatever is the reasons.
No, so that's what I'm saying. It's not that they couldn't go.
Yeah.
The Olympic Committee decided not to send paragliding,
Okay.
which is pathetic. you
Yeah.
know, because we had the potential to bring home a gold medal. In less than 2 years, we have the Japan Olympics, where again paragliding will be a part, and I'm sure it'll be the same sad story all the way again.
So
In a few months, there's the SARC Games. I don't see any sign of India sending a team for that either.
yeah, with the current kind of a controlling attitude from the bureaucracy, or I mean, I would more say
I don't think it's the bureaucracy, Badri. I think as a community, we are an extremely lazy lot. As long as we can go on the hill and take off and fly and come back and get back to our jobs, we are quite complacent. You know? So nobody wants to look at the bigger picture. Nobody wants to work for the bigger stake at hand here. And that is the problem, because something like this can only be fought at the highest level.
Yeah. So let's come to some solutions in that case, because to be honest here, as such big country, we need more pilots. More pilots will make better pilots for competing in this higher level of competitions like Olympics or Asian Games or SARC Games or many other set of different games. That we definitely need more pilots for sure. Okay, so we have to make the way easy for more pilots to come up into the sky. So assuming that the community comes together, they receive the call, they understand, they come together, what is the way to go forward?
Well, like I'm saying, first we need to come together under one banner. We've got various associations, but there's no unity. It's a small community. We have zero unity.
Yeah.
Once you come under one banner and have a sizable representation, then you have to start approaching at the highest level.
So you mean to say that when we are together as a big number, like all associations come into one single umbrella,
Correct.
and then in financially and as well as in the whole thought process will be much more intense,
Correct.
right? We are more capable because...
And you need people to get out of their comfort zone. You need to, finally somebody has to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay to talk about it, but somebody has to go to those ministries, meet the people. Somebody has to take out that much time, energy, and do it.
Or at least appoint a representative on behalf of you.
Correct.
Go once or twice, and then the following up can be done by the representative.
Correct.
And that needs more money.
Correct.
Right?
Well, it doesn't need money. I think it just needs the determination to do it. Somebody has to take it on. and somebody has to fight.
But why not? We have pilots in Delhi, we have pilots in Bombay, Bangalore, Hyderabad. We have pilots in every metro.
Well, I'm hoping that what just happened in Panchgani is a wake-up call. You know, we have lost currently one of our most beautiful sites to fly. They've just banned free flying. As a community, we've taken it sitting down. Okay, nobody is questioning the ban. Nobody has gone to the police. You know, all they have to say, okay, it's banned.
Yeah.
And people, the next day, everybody disappeared from Panchgani. You know, somebody went to Kamshed, somebody went somewhere else to fly. Nobody wanted to question the cops and say, why? You know, so this is the problem.
You
We
think
did not send a team for the Olympics. Nobody wants to question why. You know, we take it sitting down. So as long as we are going to continue to take things sitting down, nothing's going to happen.
there are two ways, like, you know, give an immediate reaction and sit down with the police and say, question them why, is one way.
RTI is a very powerful tool. Okay, Anil Madgaonkar, you know, he did a great thing for paragliding. He sent out a string of RTIs back in 2016 or 2012, I don't remember. On the basis of the answers that we received, you know, we've been able to tell authorities that we have the right to fly, you know, and you don't have the right to stop us. But it cannot be a one-man show.
Yeah.
Out of the entire community, nobody else has bothered.
So
yesterday, I was contacted by Daksh Nain from Delhi. He's an advocate.
Yeah.
And he is intending to send out another string of RTIs to the government. Hopefully, this will be the start of the next, you know, battle.
So, you are trying to say, if we all come together and distribute little bit bits and pieces of responsibility.
Yes, we all have certain capabilities that we have developed professionally. We need to use this and give it, you know, give back to the sport.
Yeah.
So each person in his own way, whether it is somebody has influence, somebody has some connections with some ministers, can help to get interviews, meetings with ministers, etc. Everybody needs to come forward at this time.
Yeah. Yeah. So what next now? I mean, in personal front, you know, we all can go and fly wherever it is allowed, like Bir Billing in India or abroad. How can we improve this? What is the next step can we take? I mean, are you going to still arrange comps? Are you going to still fly? Are you going to give up? What exactly?
Yeah, well, definitely. I'm looking at a competition next year in Panchgani, for which work has already started. This time it will be a different approach. I'm going to use a top-down approach. Rather than approach the authorities at the lower level, at the district level, we will start at the national level.
Yeah.
Using RTI to first chart out the course as to where and what permissions we require, and then moving from the top level down, and I see that as the only way forward.
Excellent. Yeah. So here we go, that we ask all the people in the community to come and be with Vistasp or with anybody else who is working towards improving this sport, and make the skies free, so that we can fly like a free bird and organize competitions. Thank you so much for sharing so many things in depth.
Thank you, Badri.
All the best for your next competition. We are with you, the whole community is with you. Let's see that in action. We'll work together. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Badri.